Hello and welcome to India Today SoSouth. I'm Gautam Shankar. This Lok Sabha elections, while the narrative nationally is Prime Minister Modi versus who in the India bloc, there is a much more interesting take with a lot more at stake in the South Indian states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, especially when it comes to the BJP. Here we are talking about two state presidents of the Saffron Party, B.Y. Vijayendra from Karnataka, and the second one is Annamalai from Tamil Nadu. Now, I have picked out a very interesting article from South First titled Lok Sabha Polls 2024 is Do or Be Doomed for BY Vijayendra in Karnataka and Annamalai in Tamil Nadu. I will also be posting a link for the article in the description below. Here, this article basically talks about why this election is a litmus test of sorts for the leadership of these two young leaders who have very different tales in terms of how they landed the post and why, as Voltaire, the French author or Spider Man's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility, could prove to be a burden rather than the blessing for this duo. Now, I have picked out a few interesting excerpts from this article as well. I'm just going to read out a few of them. B.S. Yediyurappa and his family never faced the kind of wrath from within the party that it has experienced during this election. The real challenge is to convince his baiters that a victory for Modi is more important than defeating him to prove their point. Here, I'm referring to B.Y. Vijayendra. Now, coming to Annamalai. For cadres and leaders of the BJP who have been working for decades in the Dravidian state, Annamalai is a parachuted leader imposed on them by the central leadership, is what the article reads. And also, it says that a mere hike in vote share may be woefully less than what the BJP expects from Tamil Nadu. Now, to discuss more on this and about how this election could prove to be do or be doomed for Vijayendra and Annamalai, I'm joined in by the author of the story uh, and also the executive editor of South First, Anusha Ravi Sood, who also happens to be my ex-colleague and a very dear friend. Thank you for joining us on the show today, Anusha.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for having me on your show and for picking this particular article. It was very exciting for me to write about this as well.
Absolutely, and it reflects as well in the in your work there. Now, you have picked out quite a few interesting things, aspects when you are questioning why this election could be do or die for these two leaders. Now, let me start off. First of all, to quote Shakespeare here, "Uneasy is the head that wears a crown" is a very popular quote of Shakespeare. Now, this couldn't be more true when it comes to the case of B.Y. Vijayendra and Annamalai, could it? Now, I believe it's a stiffer test for Vijayendra more than it is for Annamalai. I will give my reason for it later, but let's first focus on the younger son of former Karnataka CM B.S. Yediyurappa. He's faced with dissent unlike we have ever seen in the BJP. We've seen BJP has had its turmoil and Yediyurappa has been able to quash it, but this is at a greater level in a manner of speaking. Now, is Vijayendra a man who has the needle, who has the metal needed to prove his distractors wrong within the party? How do you see this whole situation playing out? And basically, your assessment of how these two leaders landed in the situation here.
Let's start with what irritates the BJP state unit here in Karnataka about Vijayendra the most. He is an eyesore for most people in the party who believe that the party does take a stand against nepotism. Mr. B.Y. Vijayendra perhaps is an example of everything the BJP claims it wants to criticize in other parties when it comes to nepotism, when it comes to dynasty politics, when it comes to one family, one post only kind of a policy. So he's everything that the BJP claims it is not. So that is the first eyesore. The second is at a time when hopeful people were hoping within the party, the second rung leaders, the third rung leaders, however, that they would get an elevation in the party after the reign of B.S. Yediyurappa. Here comes
True.
his son, B.Y. Vijayendra, who has another 50 years of politics ahead of him. He has community, he has his father's legacy. So naturally, he is seen as a threat to many, many leaders, those who were his father's contemporaries, like your
Mm.
Ishwarappa and Prahlad Joshi, if you want to call him a contemporary. Uh, but he's also a threat to the next generation of BJP leaders. So naturally, he's an eyesore. Does he have the mettle to prove his worth? Now, that's exactly the opportunity that has been given to him. So far, he was behind, behind the shades. He was working with his father, even when his father was the chief minister. We know that his critics have called him the shadow CM. So he's not new to power. He's not new to politics. He's not new to taking electoral decisions. This time he's doing it officially. So whether or not he has the mettle is exactly what he needs to prove in this election. But so far, if you probably assess the way he's moved forward ever since he became the party president, what are the things that you expect in the party president? That he be the bigger person, he or she be the bigger person, reach out to people who have been baiters. He's done that. Attempt to connect with cadres, especially after a disastrous loss in
Hmm.
Karnataka assembly election, when the morale was at an all-time low. Try and reach out to cadres. He's done that as well. Uh, Electoral victories. Now that is where he's faltered as president.
Yes.
Two elections so far in Karnataka, one by-election of an MLC, one more a Rajya Sabha election, and he's faltered in both. That's exactly why this, Lok Sabha elections become all the more important for BY Vijayendra.
Right. So there, you have pointed out that there were two crucial tests there for B.Y. Vijayendra in the form of bipoles. But at one point of time, he was also known as the king of bipoles, wasn't he? This was his sort of claim to fame to get to where he is. But right now, when we talk about the seat share, because we know that historically Karnataka, at least in the last few decades, votes differently when it comes to the state elections and very
Yes,
different when it comes to the Lok Sabha polls. Now, what is the kind
yes.
of seat share that would be considered acceptable for Vijayendra to continue as the state president? Because BJP has been quite lenient. Nalin Kumar Katti's track record hasn't been that great, but the yardstick for Vijayendra may not be the same this time, isn't it? Because now the reason I say it is also because the party has been very lenient with Katil, maybe because of a lack of options back then. But do you feel they will be as stringent if they were to take some action with Vijayendra this time? Would it be seen as a blow to the image of Modi? Would that be one of the reasons why they could take some serious action if they fall short of the 20 figure mark in this elections in Karnataka?
In Karnataka, I believe that the BJP is not behind vote share this Lok Sabha election. They are behind seats. Whereas in Tamil Nadu, we'll get to that later. I think their victory story will be in vote share, like they did in Telangana assembly elections. The BJP may not have won as many seats as they expected in Telangana, but the vote share jump, it was twice as much, nearly twice as much in Telangana, and they made that their victory
Yes,
story.
right.
But in
Right.
Karnataka, I do not think vote share is going to be something that the party will focus entirely on, because let's remember in 2019, the BJP won more than 50% of the vote share. It won
Yes.
51 point something percent of the vote share. Yes, in the assembly election, it drastically lost, but like you pointed out, Karnataka has always voted differently for assembly election and Lok Sabha election. But as far as assessment of performance in Karnataka is concerned, I truly believe that the BJP is more interested in the number of seats, because Karnataka gave BJP so many seats last election, 25 out of 28. Now, is the BJP going to retain all 25 seats despite being in alliance with the JDS? At this point in time, it looks highly unlikely. Given the kind of dissent that you're seeing in the party, given the kind of rivalry that is popping up. Just today, I think a Lingayat seer has announced his contest against Prahlad Joshi in Dharwad. Now, that is not something you
Yes.
saw in 2019. So,
Yes.
is the BJP going to even retain the 25 seats under Vijayendra? Now, that is his bigger challenge. Anything less than 25, I would see, for the BJP is unacceptable. Their aim will always naturally be to win more than what they won last time. If you ask me what is expected of Vijayendra, not to lose any seats that they won, probably the number of seats.
That is 25. That's quite a big margin. But that comes up now as against what is happening with Congress guarantees versus PM Modi's guarantee. But that is a separate discussion altogether. But also sticking with Jayendra here, in case the BJP does fail to capture about 25 seats, which I feel that again, in my personal view, is
Too high. Okay.
stiff target, yes. But okay, you can say that okay, maybe 20 plus would be an achievable record. Now, in either way, but if they do fall short of whatever mark BJP is looking at, would they be sending out a message by taking out detractors like Yatnal and Ishwarappa and use them as an example to show that the party will not tolerate distance, or will it be a real questions that will be asked of Vijayendra here and of Yediyurappa? Because whatever said and done, you and I, in a manner of speaking, do know that it is still Yediyurappa who is holding the reins, isn't it, for Vijayendra to be at the helm of affairs?
No, true, but the party did try to take away the reins from Yediyurappa during the assembly elections, and they saw what happened. And they vested that power back to Yediyurappa and his family this Lok Sabha election. Now, two things I want to point out when you ask how will the party react if they don't reach there. When I say 25 seats, that's what the party expects. Is that the ground reality? Definitely not. Probably at this point in time, the BJP is looking at a winnable contest in about 18 seats. A probably very tough uh, competition in another 6 seats. The rest of it is already a given to the Congress. On ground, perhaps that's the reality today. It may change tomorrow, no problem. The first thing you asked, who will the party take action against if if say they do not achieve the kind of target they're looking at? One option is to take action against people like Yatnal who are dissenting openly against Vijayendra. That's the easy option. Why I call that the easy option is because taking action against Vijayendra comes at a very huge cost, and the party at this point in time in Karnataka cannot afford that loss, that cost. Why do I say it? All of these people, your Ishwarappa, your Yatnals, your BL Santoshes, all of them, or Prahlad Joshi for that matter, all of them had an opportunity to emerge as the leader for the BJP when Yediyurappa quit the party before the 2013 elections and went away and formed his own party. There was a huge vacuum. None of these leaders were able to fill that vacuum, and that is why the BJP has had to go back to BS Yediyurappa. So even now, like you pointed out in your first question, the previous president, Mr. Nalin Kumar Katil, got a very long leash from the party for reasons best known to the party. I do not see the party taking harsh decisions when it comes to Vijayendra if they do not achieve the number of seats that they hope for. But what will happen is the questions being raised about Vijendra's capacity to be the state president will gain legitimacy in the eyes of cadre, in the eyes of leader. In the long run, he may have to do much more than he has planned for to gain that confidence back. So it comes at a personal sense of accountability for Vijayendra, I would imagine.
All right. So now, before we switch focus to Tamil Nadu, there, one thing that I could remind the viewers about is that we know that who Vijayendra gets his backing from. It's from Yediyurappa, and Annamalai is a BLS boy as well. A Karnataka connection to both. Let's just start off on that, Anusha. The kind of common the rhetorics between Vijayendra and Annamalai, and then we go into a detailed discussion on Annamalai and why he this could be a do or be doomed sort of situation for him as well. What is the factors that connect them both here?
So this is where I disagree with you when you say the challenge is more for Annamalai than it is for Vijayendra, because I think the challenge for Vijayendra is much bigger.
Hmm,
For Annamalai, the party has already given a long leash.
hmm,
He was para-dropped into Tamil Nadu politics. He was a Karnataka cadre IPS officer. He's worked here. Yes, he quit. And BJP wasn't even, if you actually look at Annamalai's political plans, BJP wasn't even his first choice.
yeah.
He was in the BJP because his first choice did not work out. That is a discussion for another day. So, is he naturally inclined to the ideology of the BJP? If you look at his speeches when he was SP, here, IPS officer in Karnataka, no, he's not. He's not ideologically committed to the BJP like BJP cadres in Tamil Nadu have been. However, when you say he's, we all know who Vijayendra is backed by and who Annamalai is backed by, naturally BL Santosh. BL Santosh came to the party as the organizing secretary to raise a whole new generation of young leaders who will take the party forward, say, for the next 40, 50 years. And Annamalai is one such leader that was handpicked by BL Santosh. And that's the reason why he has also gotten a very long leash. So
Hmm,
DY Vijayendra perhaps may falter even this election and will still have time to recover. But I don't think for Annamalai that will be probably an option post this election because he's been given a assembly election to prove himself as a asset when it comes to electoral politics. That did not work out as planned. He's been given the position of the party president in Tamil Nadu, superseding many seniors.
Correct.
He's one of the youngest leaders in the BJP. He's just joined politics, but concessions have been made to allow him not just the top post in Tamil Nadu politics, but unlimited resources, unquestioned backing, even when a very strong ally like the AIADMK pinpointed him to be the reason for them to break away from the BJP. The party has backed him. Even today, you see Mr. Modi going to Tamil Nadu, addressing rallies. He's patting Annamalai on the back. He's, holding his hand and making him sit next to him. So, if you ask me, perception-wise, the party has given Annamalai a lot of leeway, a lot of leash, and unquestioned support. Now, this is the time for him to prove himself. If he does, even this election, he didn't want to contest, but because the party has, insisted that he contest, he's gone ahead and has started campaigning in Coimbatore and is hoping to win. But if he does not win, that is one personal loss, of
Okay.
course, personal and natural. But if he does not win seats for others, now what is the quality of a leader? Quality of a leader is not just you win your seat. The quality of a leader is that you have to have the capacity to ensure that your candidates in other seats also win. So is
Hmm.
that going to happen? That probably will decide on whether Annamalai stays, goes, leaves, or is given more chances by the party. The last option I do not think is likely, but that's my personal assessment.
All right. And speaking of personal assessment, there, so you do feel that Annamalai is on a shorter leash than Vijayendra is what you believe in this current
No,
scenario.
that's only because
Uh,
he's been given a long leash for such a long time. It's not the same.
but
Vijayendra has been made the party president just now.
yeah,
And
but same
let's
was
be let's
his
be fair.
case.
But let's be
Oh,
fair. Also, there is no taking away from the fact that Vijayendra already has a leg up.
yeah,
He's in a state where the BJP has a position. Annamalai is starting off in a state where the BJP does not have any kind of, not taking that away from him at all. But
correct.
that's the reason why he's been given such a long leash for such a long time. Now is the
Yeah.
time for him to
Now
prove
I
that it was
do.
all worth it.
Now I do get it when you say he's been given a long leash, but it's been a short term in a manner of speaking. Though the 2021 assembly elections, he was uh, uh, he was barely state president for even a year when he took charge then, and I believe that 2024 is a test. 2026 may be a bigger test, but that we'll definitely have a discussion on that later. But having lost their ally ADMK there, that is one of the things he has to prove to the central high command that he made the right move in going after the Dravidian icons, isn't it? Because he knew fully well that it would only end in one way, a split with the alliance. Now, we all know about his mettle as an IPS officer, his discipline as a Karyakarta, where he's covered all seats, and in his Padayatra is what I'm talking about, and his ability to corner the DMK government on corruption issues. That shows his mettle as an IPS officer more than anything. And they have hit the headlines time and again, and has massive following on social media and even on media. Maybe not in the Tamil media because he does seem to have a few detractors there, but nationally he does seem to have gained a lot. But how will he get all these factors to translate towards is the big question, isn't it? Because traditionally Tamil Nadu, we know as a state, these are not the aspects which it goes by when it comes to elections.
I will answer the last part of your question first, about his media persona, about social media. Anybody who knows Mr. Annamalai when he was an IPS officer can vouch for you how polite he is, how
Hmm.
very well spoken. He's extremely respectful when he speaks to you. But Annamalai, the politician, is quite opposite. And that's exactly why I can tell you that it is a carefully built brand. He wants to build that brand. He wants to be this firecracker of a politician. He wants to be this, I do not want to say arrogant, but aggressive. So the last time when I wrote a profile of Mr. Annamalai also, I said in Annamalai, the BJP has its quintessential Tamil hero for its
Hmm.
Hindutva project, and he shines in it. So when somebody says, Annamalai is so abrasive in his language, the way he goes after the media, the way he goes after opposition parties, that's a very conscious decision. He wants to build that brand for himself because he believes that's the brand that sells in Tamil Nadu. That's the kind of sensibilities that is the kind of personality that will appeal to the Tamil voter sensibilities. So that is it. So your social media, your media image of him, the media hype of him is all a carefully built personality. I am not
All right.
even, that is the first part of your question. He knew going after the Dravidian icons is going to split. Yes, why would he make the mistake that Congress did at the national level? To counter BJP and BJP's Hindutva, soft Hindutva is not an answer. So for Annamalai, for the BJP to leave a mark in Tamil Nadu's politics, soft Dravidian politics is not an answer. You have to take a radically different stance. And I do appreciate it. It takes a lot of guts to do that in a state
Hmm.
that is entrenched in identity politics and takes so much pride in Dravidian ideologies, movements, icons, everybody. And it's a bold stand. It's a bold stand, which makes it a gamble. Now, will the gamble pay off is the question. But the first thing that has happened due to that gamble is a big loss to the BJP in the form of AIDMK. But then I suppose that's collateral damage. If that's the kind of statement politics you want to do, then it comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost, but do you see it as a gamble or a mistake? Because having lost ADMK, the one thing it does throw the doors open to Annamalai is basically to capture the vote share of ADMK, which is what was evident in how PM Modi spoke praises of Jayalalitha there as well, and Dravidian icons. But uh, is this a well thought of strategy that played out, or was it a mistake on Annamalai's part that the BJP chose to back him despite it? How do you see this whole thing?
It's a very good question because I've asked this question to myself also. It was a very well thought of strategy executed prematurely. This should have been something that came post Lok Sabha election when you're preparing for Tamil Nadu Assembly elections. That is
Mm-hmm.
when you want to establish yourself as an alternative to Dravidian politics, especially in a state where your vote share was what 3% last election. That's
Yeah,
nothing. In a Lok Sabha election, that's nothing.
yeah,
So yes, it was a well thought of strategy, but I think it was implemented prematurely. And for a Lok Sabha election, it was disastrous for the BJP not to have AIDMK as its ally. Now, what has that led to? Losing AIDMK, the BJP is forced to become an alliance partner of letterpad parties, parties that have zero, zero. Their vote share is somewhere 0 point something. It doesn't add anything to the BJP unless you can say yes. Like in the at the national level, you can say NDA when India Alliance was being formed, when Nitish Kumar and the like were still part of the India Alliance. You saw this whole range of parties whose names you've not heard probably in the past become part of NDA. The same thing is replicated in Tamil Nadu because you've lost such a key ally. You're going after smaller parties that see parties like PMK may be able to add or consolidate their vote share, transfer their vote share to you in some seats. But in a Lok Sabha election, that will be extremely minuscule. But more than the vote share, the parties, what the BJP has done by this huge mistake of splitting with the AIDMK just before Lok Sabha election is splitting the anti-incumbency vote against DMK, where the AIDMK BJP combined could have won 6, 7 seats out of 39. Let's say even 10 seats out of 39. They have gift wrapped those seats and handed it over to the DMK. If the DMK today is so confident that it will win all 40, 39 plus 1 in Puducherry, it's because they know that the anti incumbency votes split between the BJP and the AIDMK will benefit the DMK.
yes.
So I suppose
Hmm.
that if you go by that, it's a huge mistake. If the BJP was hoping to win more seats in the south, then yes, Annamalai's uh, brash decision of
Hmm.
pushing the AIDMK to split from the NDA is going to cost BJP seats in Tamil Nadu. This is why I say the leash is short of Annamalai.
All right.
It puts a
So
wrench. It puts a wrench in the BJP's national plans.
It does because they are talking about 400 par this time, and they will definitely need a helping hand from the southern states as well. But my final question here, while 20 seats or below 20 seats may not be acceptable for the BJP central leadership in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, anything short of 20% vote share, because these are statements that have been made by Annamalai himself in TV interviews that I've seen, where he's talking 20-25% vote share, and to go along with it 2 to 3 seats as well. That is the kind of yardstick that is present for him. So, in your assessment, uh, who do you feel will might face the axe first if the predictions do not come true for either Vijayendra or Annamalai here?
I would think it is Annamalai, like I said, because Vijayendra, I think, has just started off. It's not even 6 months since his presidentship. Second thing, the cost of cutting Vijayendra down to size is far higher than the cost of cutting an Annamalai down to size. Now, what is
Hmm.
the BJP going to lose if they cut Annamalai down to size? Are they going to lose a state president? No, they've brought Tamilisai Soundararajan back to Tamil Nadu politics. She's
Yeah.
right there. There are other senior leaders who are fully capable and in fact far more acceptable for the party, for the RSS, as well as the cadres than Mr. Annamalai. Yes, he's very inspiring, he's very motivational at the end of it, but has he spent as much time building an organization like, say, Apon Radhakrishnan? No. Or somebody like a Tamilisai Soundararajan who commands great respect within the cadres. Not as much before. Had that been reality, a lot of BJP leaders would not have, those considered close to Annamalai, would not have quit and gone to the AIADMK, which also contributed to the split in the NDA. So I would think that if the BJP falls short of its expectations, either in Karnataka or in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Annamalai would pay a far bigger price than Vijayendra.
All right. So there you have it. When it comes to this Lok Sabha elections, Annamalai seems to be on a shorter leash compared to his counterpart in Karnataka, is what Anusha Ravi Sood from South First has to say there. Thank you so much, Anusha, for joining us on this discussion and sharing your insights today on India Today So
Thank you
South.
so much. Thank you so much, Gautam, for having me on the show. It's such a pleasure.
Same here.